Welcome inside the State Champs Sports Network studio, everybody. My name is Lauren Plant. This is Donnie Dreher. And just because we do not have a State Champs television show this week does not mean we do not have news and happenings in our Total Softball Player of the Year race. And we do. And we're going to get to it right now. So first off, it's been a great competition so far. We have got fabulous players all over the state, and things are really starting to heat up now. We're starting to see the stats come in, the numbers coming in, and we're getting correspondence coming in, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But let's get right to the meat of things, and that is we have a change in our top 10. So Farmington Hills Mercy shortstop and catcher Maggie Murphy is coming off the watch list, going into the top 10. Talk about the range of this athlete.
Well, Maggie's a big-time athlete. She's being recruited by Michigan, Wisconsin, Notre Dame. I mean, there's a number of schools that like her. So she definitely has the athleticism and has really taken off in the last 6 months. But starting out in high school with Mercy, she's already got 7 home runs. And based on the strength of those 7 home runs and hitting over 520 is why we moved her up into the top 10.
Yeah, I didn't mention it, but what grade is she in?
Maggie is a sophomore this year. Yep, graduating 2021.
There you go. So again, this is not a senior-driven competition. Everybody is open to get in. Congratulations, Maggie Murphy. Now, Corunna's outfielder Hannah Hollister is not being taken off the radar, just back down to the watch list right now. And again, we want to reiterate every time that we have movement in our competition that you very easily could play your way back in. So we have an addition to our watch list. And again, we talk about the Clarkston Wolves and this juggernaut that it seems of talent that they have. First base outfielder pitcher, let's call her jack of all trades, Abby Tomey is going onto the watch list, and there's a real internal battle here because we've got so many players in the mix.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. When we talk about Clarkston, you got Hannah Katie, who's off to a great start. She's hitting 750. Sierra Kirsten's hitting over 600. And Abby Tomey, all of them juniors at Clarkston, hitting over 600 as well. And what's going to be really fun to watch about this group is they're going to have an internal battle for themselves, a healthy battle.
Right.
And it's going to be easy for us to evaluate them because they're playing against the same competition. They're playing, batting against the same pitchers. So we're going to be able to evaluate themselves. But I know all 3 of these kids. I know how important it is to win, and that's going to be a focus. But I think that little internal battle is going to be healthy for them. It's going to push all 3 of them, and it's going to make their team better. And what will end up separating them, I believe, is the way that we evaluate these kids. And getting big hits against great competition and helping your team win is going to separate the kids that just have the numbers. Without doing it against great competition.
Absolutely. And again, if I'm Clarkston's coaching staff, I love this. You know what I mean? It's almost like not only are they out there to do the best they can and all that, but there's this kind of internal drive about, hey, you know what? I want to stay in this competition, and I'm just going to keep focused out there. And yeah.
Well, Howell has the same situation. They've got 4 kids that we're watching. You got AJ Militello. We have Molly Carney that's pitching. You have another kid named Maddie Gillette and Avery Wolverton. Again, 4 kids on a stacked team that's going to be there right at the end, and they're going to have that same internal healthy battle because we're not going to have 4 kids from Howell in the top 10, and we're certainly not going to have 3 Clarkston kids on the top 10. So those are 2 kind of rivalries inside the team that's really going to be fun to watch.
We've got another addition to our watch list, and that is Portage Central Junior first base catcher Caitlin Brandstrom to the watch list.
Yeah, Caitlin Brandstrom is starting with a great year, a kid that's committed to Purdue already. She had a game earlier, 11 RBIs. I've gone a whole season without hitting 11 RBIs. So I think the last update we had, she has 22 for the season already. Wow. Power hitting first baseman, and she's jumped onto the watch list, and someone we're obviously going to be looking at to potentially get on the top 10.
Right. So a couple players are just coming off the watch list for right now, but again, they could play their way back in very easily. Ann Arbor Gabriel Richard, Savannah Wing, and Clarkston's Liv Warrington are just off the watch list right now. What we want people to understand really is how this competition is judged, how we rate these players. It's not, again, as Donnie already noted, not simply just the numbers. We have a selection criteria.
We do. And first I want to start by saying thank you to the people that are reaching out to us, that are identifying kids that are having great stats and making us aware of it. So please keep doing that. We don't care where we get them from. We'll get the stats, and then our staff will go in and verify those stats. So to the kids that are out there, it's nice to have an advocate, somebody that knows you, that maybe is at the game, someone that has access to the stats, because we always know not all the coaches have enough time to be able to do this. So we'll take it from anywhere, and then we'll do our research on that. So
often it's parents, but yeah, it's fine.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay for a starting point. If we can get it, that's great. Yes. So first of all, that's how we're being aware. We're a small group, and to watch thousands of kids, that is very helpful. And then right now in our competition, obviously 20% of it is the fan voting. And as Lauren has alluded to many times, if you're the number one vote getter, you cannot come off that top 10 list, and you will be in the Final Four. The fans will be heard.
Yes, absolutely.
Right now, the next 30% is performance, and that's what we're really looking at now, is the performance as the numbers are coming in. As we continue to go along, we're going to start to look at 20% of that is 20% is the competition level your team is facing.
And that's fair.
Yeah, it's different if you're 6 for 6 against a team that you've beat 22-4 versus playing a rival that's in the top 10. So that's 20% of it. And then 15% of is it the big game performance during those big teams. I'll give you an example. Hannah Katie hitting a walk-off home run against South Lyon. That carries weight. Sierra Kirstead hitting a walk-off. Molly Carney getting a statement win over a top 10 team. Those are things that, as we get further along, that are going to really be important. And then getting those performances, big game performances, and helping your team win, which is another 10%, is what it's really going to come down to in the final as we narrow down and finally decide who is the player of the year.
We put a very small percentage for highly recruited athletes, because especially in sports like softball, there are so many great programs all throughout. It's not like football or basketball where you can just kind of determine it. But we do put a little bit there that you are being recruited by a big-time softball program. That obviously holds a little bit of weight, just a little bit. So, again, Donnie said we've been getting some great feedback. We want you guys to continue to do that. How do you do that? So, you can email Donnie Dreher directly, and I'll make sure that John's got the email here on your screen. So you can do that. You can direct message us on Twitter. We've been getting a lot of comments on Facebook. And you can just kind of leave a message in the Facebook inbox there, or you can email us directly. You just go to statechampsnetwork.com. There's a contact page there, and there's a way that you can click on that and email us directly. Again, we take all of this very seriously. We will take a look at what you have to say, and then that kind of is talked about, and then you are that player we will put on the radar, and we'll check them out.
We now have a watching list that goes way deeper than 25 because we're getting a lot of feedback. So you got a top 10, you got the watch list, and now we got a watching list of kids that we're beginning to track.
So the real only important thing that we can't stress is Mother Nature, please cooperate with us so that we can get these games in and that we can really evaluate and see where these players are at. But again, this list is fluid and it will change. So the best way, if you found yourself maybe not in the mix right now, play your way in there, and your performance will tell the tale, and we will pay attention. All right, so that is it for another update. Make sure you check back with us next week.